Are you having an issue where your brakes bleed fine, but once you start the truck up, your pedal just goes right to the floor? You could be a victim of watching my videos, and if you did watch my video on how to replace the front brakes, I'm sorry, and here is the clarification on what I showed you wrong. What's up, guys? So this is going to be a follow-up video to the video that I made like a year ago where we did all new front brakes, locking hubs, whatever else in the Bronco. And I was trying to figure out after doing that video why my brakes wouldn't bleed. And there's a really simple problem that I made in that video, which is why I'm making this video as well. So that hopefully if some of you guys watch that video and then you use it as a tutorial and you mess it up, I was thinking about just taking that video down, but I'm not going to do that. Here's the deal. These calipers will fit on either side. That doesn't mean that they're designed to be, universal. So what I had done originally in that video is I had this caliper on that side and that caliper on this side, which caused the bleeder to be on the bottom instead of the top. So you need to make sure that you have your bleeder on the top instead of on the bottom. So a symptom of that, which is the symptom that I was having, is that I was getting, perfectly fine brake pressure when the truck wasn't off. Like the brakes, they worked a little bit. I hadn't bled them yet, and then I did bleed them with the truck off. And I was only getting fluid out of the front and fluid out of the rear. I wasn't getting air out of anywhere. And that's because all of the air was trapped and it couldn't come out because the bleeder was on the bottom instead of the top. But the symptom that I was having is that it was working perfectly fine and it was bleeding fine and whatever else, when in reality it wasn't bleeding fine because it wasn't bleeding at all. But then once you go and you turn the truck on, your pedal would just go straight to the floor. And the reason for that is because you still had all that air trapped in your front calipers. So yeah, that's just something to make sure that you do properly instead of what I did. Make sure your calipers are on the right side. They fit on either side, but they don't work on either side. So yeah, if you're bleeding your brakes and they bleed out fine, and then you go start the truck up and your pedal just goes right to the floor, you could possibly have those switched around. I was reading on forums and stuff about, oh, my pedal goes to the floor when I hit the brakes, but it was bleeding fine. And a lot of people were saying, oh, you might need to replace your brake booster, your master cylinder, and whatever else. And I was like, well, before I go down the road of replacing the brake booster and the master cylinder and everything, I'm just going to make sure that everything that I did down here was correct, which clearly was not correct. So I know I haven't really posted lately on this channel, but I felt like it was important to kind of clarify a mistake that I made in a previous video, just so hopefully some other people don't make that mistake. And then if they do make that mistake, maybe they'll find this video about me explaining it, and then they'll be able to yell at me in the comments for making them do it wrong in the first place. It's really easy to take these off. It probably took me half an hour to switch them from one side to the other, and that included going and finding the tools I needed and whatnot to do it. So if you do screw it up, it's not a big deal. Just switch them, and it'll take you 30 minutes tops to do that. So especially if you lubed them up real good like I did. These pins here, when you put those in, make sure you put a lot of grease on those so they slide good. It just makes it easier to take it back apart. Stuff doesn't rust together. So, okay. That's going to do it for today. When it comes to the Bronco, as you guys can see, we have this hut here that we didn't have last time. So we're kind of down by the chicken coop now instead of over by the house. It's just kind of a change of scenery. This truck's going to get done this summer. Mark my words, okay? It's been a while. It's been a couple years just kind of piddling around with it. But even if I have to pay someone else, which I'm going to have to, obviously, to fix a motor issue, I don't feel like dealing with that. But it's getting done before fall. I'm just going to throw money at it. I'm going to drop it off somewhere and be like, freaking do it. That's about it. Okay. thank you guys for watching. Sorry if I made you guys install your parts wrong. So, alright, see you later.